Hello. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Um, I'm really delighted to host the very warm-hearted Sudha Krishnan this evening as she speaks about Wabi Sabi. This is a topic which is very close to my heart because somehow growing up, I always had this perfectionism as conditioning, and I'm working on letting go of that. And I'm really delighted that Sudha is going to talk about how we could accept imperfection and how we could embrace it in our daily life and also give us a perspective of how it works in coaching. Um, Sudha and I connected early this year, and we've just had such a um beautiful connection that we speak very less, yet we're connected at our heart. Probably because we both are spiritual seekers, and like she says, she's a spiritual wanderer and an emotional and alchemist. Um, that's the only reason I feel so connected with her, I feel. And when she uh, said that she would be talking about this topic, I was really excited because I would get to learn more and probably peel off some more layers for myself. So, Krishnan is a PCC coach and she's got 34 years of experience. For those of you who don't know about her, she's also an NLP master practitioner and she also masters in psychology. She specializes in team and relationship coaching for leadership development. Um, she also works with leaders on team effectiveness, mindfulness, and emotional intelligence. That's a little bit about her. I request everyone who's not speaking to keep yourselves on mute, please, so that we don't have disturbance during the session. Yeah, so without much delay, I hand it over to you, Sudha. Please take
Yeah,
over.
thank you. Thank you, Sunita, for hosting and taking all the efforts to promote this session. I really, really appreciate all the effort that you have taken and all of you who have shown up today. I know many sessions people register, but showing up takes another level of commitment. So I'm really thankful that all of you are here, and I strongly believe that this 13 people that we are, and probably any more who are going to join, this is how it is meant to be today. And then I'm looking for a very engaging conversation. It's not that I'm a master of Wabi Sabi or that I know it all. But as Sunita said, this topic has changed me as to who I am in my uh, area of personal life and who I am as a coach and how I'm showing up. So I thought this is something that I can share with all of you because we are all in this journey. And I'm assuming, is there anybody who's not a coach here? Okay. I know all of you are coaches, so I know that this is something that we all would really love to know more about. Before I say anything about Wabi Sabi, just a curious question. What about this topic kind of drew your interest to be here today? Please unmute and then please feel free to share.
the, the name itself was very, it's must sounded like you'll get something very new, something very unheard.
Okay, okay. The name? Okay, all right.
Yeah, Sarika, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm aware of Ikigai. I know in crux like what is Wabi Sabi, but so I'm pretty much attracted to all these Japanese concepts, Kaizen and all. And
Okay,
here I felt like, what are we going to bring into coaching was my curiosity to join here. Thank you.
great. Thanks, Sarika. So,
Nirali says, sounds like some tribal technique to human development.
yeah.
I,
I would like to go. For me, Wabi Sabi reminded me of sushi. I love sushis. So first is like that love of sushi. Second is I saw the name Sudha and Sunita. So I know I have to be here. That's it. So these are my two reasons.
All right, wonderful. Rahul says impermanence is bliss. Of course, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
have, so Sudha, yeah, I have read the book, and like in also Ikigai, there were mentions. And I was in a session with one of the very senior coaches some time back through Wiki, and the whole topic was pretty much Wabi Sabi. And since then, I've been meaning to read a little more on that, get a little deeper on that, because it has really, really attracted the way they talk about the transient nature of things, right? And of earthly things, pretty much. So I think I'm here to learn more from you. And like, KP or anybody else, we have been in your earlier session, so I know what it is going to be. So very excited to be here today. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you, Preeti. I
And
think, yeah.
may I share? Actually, in my childhood, I had read a chapter in Hindi. The title of that chapter was Shanbhangur.
Mm-hmm.
Means, everything is a bubble that would go off. Nothing is impermanent.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I believe this is very relative to this.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, sure, Sripad. I will share what I have read. I will share. There are many versions of Wabi Sabi. There are many authors. I will definitely share at the end the author who I read, and Preeti also can probably share. This book, I don't know if you can see, I know I'm on a virtual background, so probably you will not. It's called, this book title is Wabi Sabi by Nobu Suzuki. I will anyway put it on the chat. Yeah. Okay. So before we start, thank you for sharing. I think most of you are attracted to Japanese and Japanese concepts and philosophies, and some by the name, and Kavita by the sushi and all of that, right? I have a small activity for you on Mentimeter, right? So I'm going to share the link here. Just give me a second. Meanwhile, you can probably take your phones and then open the Google Lens. And I was just, sharing with Sunita, because the topic is Wabi Sabi. I've been having enough challenges right from the morning with technology. Okay, I'm sharing the first menti.com link. I'm also going to share the QR code, whatever works for you. Yeah, are you able to see my screen? Can somebody confirm if you're able to see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
They're
you
able to
can
see the screen.
take your phone and then just scan the QR code on your Google Lens. It will take you to menti.com. It will just appear on the screen on a white background. Just click on that. There are 2 questions. Please answer them. Any questions, please feel free to ask. Sunita, while I'm sharing my screen, I'll not be able to see if there is anybody typing anything on the chat. Do let me know.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I'm tracking that.
Have you all scanned the QR code? Can I move from this?
I have a question.
Yeah.
It says, have you had these thoughts anytime? Thoughts are you referring to?
Sorry, the second part of your question was not clear to me, Vibhu.
So I'm reading the question, have you had these thoughts anytime?
Yeah.
My question is, what thoughts are we referring to?
There is a list, Nietzsche,
Yeah.
and then you can just, it's a scale. You can pull it. If yes,
Okay.
there is a
So
strongly
then
agree and
it says,
disagree.
I should have done better. Correct. So I should have done better. So in
Uh-huh.
what aspect? Overall, in general,
Overall, anything.
or any
See,
specific?
no, nothing specific. Okay. Have you all had these thoughts anytime? Do you agree or disagree? You can just move the scale.
Anyone facing a challenge, or are we all done?
Done. And when you're done with the first, there'll be a second question.
Yeah, you'll be taken to another screen where you'll be asked to input free form text. So you can just answer, or you have an option of skipping the question also and moving to the next one.
Okay, I'm seeing the results here. Okay. So looks like at least any one of the thoughts all of you would have had, right? I'm seeing some 17 responses here. And it's moving. So most of the people here are agreeing that you would have had any one of these thoughts. And when I asked you what are the needs behind these thoughts, people, opinion, and judgment, I know I can do a better job, perfectionism, validation, need to have higher self-worth to achieve the best, need to be perfect, higher self-worth, be perfect, avoid failure, minimize risk, me being perfect. What if questions in our mind? Okay. Great. So I think what we are all agreeing is all of us have experienced these kind of thoughts. And one common theme that I could read in and through all of that is we all actually aim to be perfect sometime or the other in our life. Yeah, are we all in agreement with this? That we all want to be perfect, or there are times that we are driven by our perfectionism, or probably we kind of hold ourselves because we want to be perfect. Yeah, are we in agreement with this? Is there anybody who thinks otherwise?
I don't think it is perfection for me. I feel it is better version because I feel there is nothing called as perfection. That's my personal.
Great. I think that's where we want to be, Kavita, right? Because I think what you're saying is the truth, right? There's nothing called perfect state in this world, because all that is in this world that we see around ourselves, I don't think anything is perfect, but yet we all in our human experiences, either in our own lives or we have witnessed this, our clients talking about this many a times, that the reason that probably they are holding themselves, the fear of failure, that I can't be doing something less than being perfect. I really fear I can't do this. I don't think I can, cope up with this new leadership role I'm taking. Or I don't think I can, probably move to this new team because I fear failure or I fear change. Yeah, Simi, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I think what was, when I was going through those questions, I was feeling more about myself than others, that this need to excel and this nagging feeling at the back of my head after anything that I do in my life, that I could have done much better.
Yeah, yeah,
That is something is very difficult to shrug off.
absolutely, absolutely. KP, I see your hand up.
So, though cognitively at conscious level, I always think perfection. I don't require a perfection, but when it comes to some performance or when I'm dealing in the moment, these thoughts definitely appear within me.
Yeah.
And just on this thought of if I can be better, so probably that is something I really like. I want to better it next time. I'm not really freaking out on what happened earlier, but rather still I want to do better.
Yeah. Thanks for calling out the distinction, right? I think we are not wanting to not strive to be better, but we are now here talking about sometimes progress is always good. Striving to be better is always good. Taking responsibility to become the better version, the best version of ourselves is always good. But what we are talking about is being perfect. I would like to probably talk about my own life story, right? Until I actually came up and got hold of this book. Like many of you, the name was very attractive for me when I first found this book in the bookstore. Usually, I buy a book just before I go for my holiday because I would like to spend reading during my holiday. So when I picked this in the airport, it's surely like how many of you said, the name was very, very attractive for me. And then the line under the name was the wisdom in imperfection. And the perfectionist in me was attracted to the imperfection because what I was suffering was perfection. Right? So this book kind of changed the way I actually started looking at myself, my life, my pursuits, and including the way I coach and how today I show up as a coach. I'm sure all of you will relate to this, right? When we started our coaching journey, we put ourselves into test, right? From, coaching in front of so many people we don't know, peer coaching with people, trying to do our coaching with real clients. And in every moment, right from the first session to the second session, as we keep growing from ACC to PCC, this journey, right? We are now trying to become perfect and perfect. Well, that's why I said there's nothing wrong in becoming better. But I liked what KP said earlier. My ideal self always was believing, right? I'm not this person who's wanting to be perfect. When I hear the stories from my client, I used to think, am I like that? But truly, truly within me, I always used to hear, what I have not solved for myself, I cannot solve for my client. So over the period of this journey, I started realizing it's my ideal self which is telling me that probably I am not working towards perfectionism, but my real self experiences the illness of perfectionism. This is how I experience my journey as a coach. And until then, I owned it up. Then I could see this is how I was operating in my many roles, right? Me being a woman, I wanted to be a superwoman in all my roles, right? I want to be the best coach. I want to be the best social entrepreneur that I am. I want to be the best wife. I want to be the best daughter, the best daughter-in-law. All the roles that I'm playing, I wanted to be the best. Is it wrong to aim to be best? No. But when it comes with so much of pressure, that's when I started questioning myself. This whole pursuit of being best, is it best or is it being perfect? Many a times we don't realize the difference between these two, right? And today I can confidently say, I'm still striving to be better every day. I have not given up my responsibility. And to become better. But today I do it minus the pressure. But what I was earlier doing in the name of becoming best, I was doing it with a lot of pressure. Then I realized it was a journey of trying to be perfect when it's just not possible. So that's the story why I was very deeply moved by this topic. And I thought, okay, this is something that I would like to share from my personal experience. Yeah. So let me share my screen.
KP has raised his hand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, KP.
a question just arised when you were sharing your story. That one is, I think I am the best. So, or I'm trying to become the best. Or another is, now there is a task or there is something about to happen. I'm giving my best. So there may be a difference.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give my best out of it. Not attached to the outcome, but still, for example, in a relationship, I'm trying to give my 100% into this relationship, my own 100%. That becomes the 50%. The rest is up to the other person. So the result may not be that I'm best, but my input was best.
Yeah, true. My input was best. But here I'm talking about it's not the best. That's why I'm saying the words can be at a play here. There are times I want to be perfect. I don't want to be doing those mistakes. Right? When my focus is to avoid mistakes, when my focus is to be perfect, then it comes with a lot of pressure. But if we were to operate, hey, I want to show my best, and my best can be different on different days, isn't it? There can be a day where I'm probably at my best. And if I start comparing, oh, that day I did it so well, why can't I do it today? Then which means I'm having an expectation of this is best. But my best can be different on different days based on my situation, based on my physical energy, my mental energy, my emotional experiences. Right? So that's why I said, we are not stopping to strive to be the best, and the best can be different on different days. It's more than being best. It's the ability to be imperfect or accepting the nature of imperfectness that exists everywhere. I think that's what probably I want to actually highlight in this topic. Right. So I'm going to show you some pictures here. Okay. Please take a note of what's catching your attention from these pictures. Every slide has 2 pictures. Please make a note of what's catching your attention from these pictures. And before I move on to the next slide, please feel free to share. What do you want to share? What are you noticing? Okay, I see a light, beautiful smile. Okay. Right. I'm moving on. What are you seeing here? I am having some difficulty in actually reading the chat. So if you can unmute and share, it might be easy.
juxtaposition.
Mm-hmm. What is juxtaposed here, Preeti? Dimple?
And Dimple,
Dimple.
Yeah.
see, I see the faded walls on the one side, and I see a beautiful painting on the other side of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of opposites somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, they have a relationship with each other in
Mm-hmm.
terms of their, let me say, when I see the picture, if I put it over on that wall, it
Mm-hmm.
might look beautiful in certain ways. It might attract me. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just a position in terms of, faded wall having a beautiful picture on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see a rustic look, and that appeals to me in both ways.
In the frame, you mean the picture with the frame?
Yeah, even this frame, it looks beautiful. It's a
Yeah.
very natural thing. Similar to this wall has some rustic look.
Yeah.
It is with those, what do we call that in English? I know only in Punjabi. So that ceiling, right?
Correct.
Old kind of a ceiling,
Absolutely.
giving a very rustic, as if, yeah, but still a beautiful. There is a modern urban element also in this.
Yeah, absolutely. So even in the earlier picture that I shared, right? This one, I saw people writing fresh, green, right? And then there is this old, withered, dried, decaying leaf. What are you seeing here?
There's an algae thing on the right, something that you can't make out, some kind of sculpture.
Yeah.
And here on the left-hand side also, it's again like what we're talking about, old, rustic, not done properly, all related to imperfection in some sense. But then like the right-hand things from a distance, it looks beautiful to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so does the left-hand thing, because if it's a painting, it is beautiful in its own way. It gives that a unique kind of a, something that does appeal, if for people who are fond of grays and beiges.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Simi and then Sarabjot.
Yeah, one side I see the the freshness, the greenery, and the other side I see the not so fresh look.
Yeah.
The green side looks more natural to me, growing on its own, in its own, in its own rhythm. And the other side, I find that it has been arranged in a specific way, so it's more organized. So this is what came up for me.
Yeah. Thank you, Simi.
I think for me, what I noticed in the last picture, the one with the vessel, it was more like something to do with the effect of time and the environment, the impact that can have on the object in focus.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think what I was trying to actually explain through these pictures is Wabi and Sabi, right? Wabi Sabi actually is the way of how we see our life and the universe around us. The central principle of Wabi Sabi, I think some of you already called it out, right? It's accepting the impermanence, the imperfect, and the incomplete. So this is the central philosophy. And if you see in Japan, they live this by their culture, right? You can see this philosophy in their Japanese gardens. Preeti, the statue, the moss covered statue that you saw, those are some things that you will find in the public places and the Japanese gardens. That is Sabi. Sabi is nothing but appreciating the beauty that comes with aging. It's appreciating life, growth, decay, and death. And now not trying to change anything about it. And like what Dr. Simi was saying, the wall, right? The faded wall, it was probably painted many, many years back, but it is just protected. After some time, it looks faded. One side of the wall is faded. One side, there is still some paint. And even that frame, it's an old piece of jute cloth. It's like a rag, actually. But somebody found beauty in it and then just framed it. So Japanese, they believe this and they live this as part of their culture, which is accepting imperfection everywhere, because they, unlike the Western culture, where, or even the European architecture, you will see symmetry everywhere, sharp lines, buildings built out of stones. But in Japan, you will see buildings more built out of wood, because wood does not last for long. It has its own time to live. They strongly believe that nothing needs to last, because nothing in nature lasts forever. If everything around us is so transient in nature, so impermanent, why should we hold on to things and get attached? And this philosophy is again rooted in Buddhism, right? The main reason for dukkha, or suffering, is attachment, because we either get attached to things and we expect it to be there always. It could be people, it could be things that we possess, it could be materialism, whatever it is, right? It makes it even more difficult. So the whole idea is rooted in this thing of, the more you start accepting who we are, what we have, and what is in the moment, it helps us to move forward. The more we resist, the more and more we resist, we are creating stagnancy for ourselves and for the situation. In fact, I read a quote. I don't know who it belongs to because I couldn't find who wrote it. They say that, it's through acceptance you get freedom. And out of acceptance, you get growth. And I was reminded when I read this quote, for some reason, I was reminded of, Viktor Frankl's quote also, right? He says that there is a space between every stimulus and response. And in this space lies your freedom of choice and response. And in this response lies your growth and freedom. It's so connected for me. Yeah, the more you resist, the more it persists. Exactly, Rakesh. So all this connects for me in a way like, the more and more we stop resisting change, the more and more we stop expecting things to be permanent always. And more we become critical of ourselves, that we are not be able to be that perfect selves that we have in our mind, right? I think that's when probably it actually comes in a way of our growth. And I'm sure you would have witnessed this in your clients as well. Most of the times, when your client comes back and says, I'm really stuck. I really don't know what to do. I'm so stuck here. And if you really explore their stuckness, most of the time it will be they are resisting something. Probably, they will say, no, I never expected, no, I've been now moved to this team. I was doing so much for this current team, and I was actually planning to grow my career in this department, in this function. But suddenly I've been moved to this another role. I'm really now stuck. I really don't know. It means I really need to prove myself again. And then there is a lot of narrative that's happening there. If you deeply listen to the client, what they are resisting is the change that's happened in their life. And somebody may ask, right? When I was reading this, the question came to my mind. So what are we going to do? If we're just going to accept and not do anything about it? No, it's not that. I think we cannot do anything about what has happened, but we can do everything about what needs to happen from here on. I think that's the power we need to recognize. But what happens is, most of the time, we get stuck in what's happened. And then we put all our efforts in trying to change that, in trying to resist that. But what needs to happen is acceptance needs to happen there, and then probably you will find your path of growth in terms of understanding what choices exist for you with this current situation. So, in fact, the whole concept of Wabi Sabi, it's very difficult to explain because it's in Japanese. When you're now trying to translate it into English, probably it will definitely, lose its actual meaning. But still, roughly put, Wabi is about, the humility, the simplicity, the freshness, the tranquility, something to do with nature, accepting it's about the imperfection. And Sabi is about the beauty of aging. It's about the experience you get when you actually accept the imperfectness. In fact, if you ask, and if you please, I would invite you all to definitely go and Google around. No two people will be able to explain the Wabi Sabi the same way. In fact, sometimes I feel I will be at odds in trying to explain it perfectly, because I'll be at odds with the philosophy of Wabi Sabi by trying to explain it first. So it's like, if you can put these two words together, and then if you can allow the magic to flow into your life, it's about if you can just develop the acceptance for impermanence, imperfection, and incompleteness. I think that's what we are talking about here. What are your thoughts that's coming to you?
Sudha, I heard you say that it is, if you try to put in Wabi and Sabi in words, it's again something that you're going to aim at perfection.
Exactly.
And it's something that one has to experience for themselves. Just noticing the nature of life and our own life also in connection with the larger life.
Yeah.
I really love that aspect that you shared just now. That one has to really experience for themselves.
Yeah.
And then see how it works for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Nirali is saying, how can one inspire acceptance in a person?
Sorry, say that again.
How can one inspire acceptance in a person? Inspire or kindle acceptance.
Yeah. I don't know how to inspire or kindle acceptance, but definitely we can tell them what are they missing by not accepting. Right? By not accepting, what are they missing? And I feel that should be the inspiration for acceptance. By trying to resist whatever is around us, what are we missing actually? I think that should be the inspiration. In fact, I was just talking to you about, how Japanese use this Wabi Sabi philosophy in every aspect of their life. I was talking. In fact, Wabi Sabi architecture, Wabi Sabi art form, these are very, very popular. In fact, I'm sure you might have heard about the popular tea ceremony that the Japanese do. So in the 15th century, actually, when the tea ceremony was first started, it was more of a show off, a status symbol. It is for the rich, who were trying to probably showcase the valuable chinaware and the beautiful ceramic glazed cups in which the teas were served. And then they used to celebrate this on a full moon day. And then there was this Zen master, I forget his name, Kensiyu or something like that. He actually changed the entire tradition. He said, I don't want tea ceremonies to be a thing to show off wealth, to show off probably richness, the glazed ceramic cups. Let's not probably use these Chinese cups. Let's start using something local. So in fact, he was the one who popularized this raku pottery. In fact, today, if you see, this is very popular in Japan. They don't use teacups which are glazed, shining, and then Chinaware, beautiful paintings, none of it. In fact, what they do is they use cups which are made up from their local clay and mud. They are irregular in shapes. They are very old. In fact, you would find in fact, some places where they originally started, you will find cups which are held there for many, many years. They didn't even change it. Or for that matter, the moss engulfed statue that you talk about, it's a reminder for them that everything goes through life, a stage of birth, growth, decay, and death. So let's not change anything. So they have every form of Wabi Sabi and every element of Wabi Sabi in the world around them. In their homes, they try to keep Wabi Sabi architecture, which is like not trying to. You saw that old mud pot with dry plants there. They still, and many of you felt this was still beautiful. Many of you felt that photo frame was so beautiful. The wall was still beautiful. The ceiling, the wooden ceiling, it was not polished. It was not painted, but it was still, they are all great reminders. Exactly, Smita. They all serve as the great reminders of the transient nature of life so that we don't hold on to things. That's what they were trying to do. In fact, have you heard of this art form called kintsugi? Yeah, it's a beautiful concept actually. What they do is broken cups or broken potteries, right? They actually put them together by filling gold in between. So if a cup is broken, they actually put the pieces together and then they fill it with gold or any precious metals. And why do they do this? Because they want to probably highlight the imperfect and they want to make it really very precious. Here was a cup and here, it broke. And then because it broke, we don't want to throw it away. We want to probably preserve it. That's what they were actually trying to do with that. So it's kind of, that the gold that binds that kintsugi pieces, it strengthens the whole. So it's not about, trying to hide the imperfections. It's rather, embracing the imperfection. It's also kind of trying to say, this is something that will happen. Things are meant to be broken. People are meant to age. Things are meant to be going through the processes of, growth, decay, and death. That's what it's exactly, Sarabjo. It's being vulnerable and not trying to be this shiny, perfect all the time. Today, if you are seeing that, we are all running towards a world, especially with social media, where we want to show only our best selves, all the best things that's happening in our life. And we are trying to paint a picture that everybody is always supposed to be happy, laughing, smiling, having beautiful holidays, having fantastic dinners. If you follow somebody, you will think, okay, this person is always on holiday. What a great life. Oh, this person is having fantastic dinners in such fine restaurants. What a great life. We are only now trying to show what's so perfect. And then we are all now racing towards a world where we are only wanting to embrace what is perfect. And by doing so, what is this doing to us psychologically? Whatever is imperfect in us, we suffer it silently. So how do you think this is applicable for us in coaching?
I think one thing which was coming to me was, Sudha, when we say that not being judgmental is also maybe one way that I, as a coach, am imbibing this concept.
Yeah. Sure. I think, Sarabjot, you said, I heard you saying not being judgmental. Are you saying towards self or towards a client?
I think it would be both ways. First was the client, and what was coming to my head when I was thinking about it was that sometimes there's this pressure of asking the right question, and then after the session, I'm judging myself that did I ask the right questions rather than focusing on what was the impact it had on the client, how did it change things for them. So that is what I'm saying, judging both ways,
Yeah,
myself as well as the person in front.
absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's the most important thing that I would like to talk about as applications in coaching, right? We all do that. We all are, having the 37 markers for which we are trying to mark, whether we are in our PCC journey or whether it is in an ACC journey. We are trying to remember the competencies, and then we are trying to see, okay, did I do the perfect contracting today? We should, as coaches, as we are working towards mastering our coaching competency, we should work towards our mastery for sure. But if that is going to come in the session, during the session, then probably, definitely, we are not at the best service of the client. But we all do know in this journey, this keeps happening for us. There is in and out that happens during the coaching. But what needs to happen, this in and out we cannot avoid. But what needs to happen is when the client is talking, we have to be fully focused with the client. And then we can take our pause and then think, okay, what have I checked so far? That is the time. Maybe you can take your pause and then frame your questions. But what we do is many times, I don't know, this has happened to me. I would like to hear how your experience was. This has happened to me when I started initially coaching, right? When I was given the feedback, Sudha, don't ask stacked questions. Don't ask closed-ended questions. Ask succinct questions. Make your observation succinct. Your contract was not tight. You need to work on evoking your awareness bit. This, that. So you're trying to manage. So initially it used to look like when I first started driving my car, it was like too many variables I was managing. I need to understand the clutch and the gear ratio, how much to, pedal on the accelerator, when to brake, left indicator, right indicator, this side mirror, that side mirror, rear view mirror, front, and then somebody's talking in the car, and then the AC. I felt there are too many variables that I need to be managing. It felt very, very conscious initially. I think the same is with coaching or any other skill that we learn. Till it becomes a very unconscious competence for us, we are very conscious of it. But the only way to move from a conscious competence to an unconscious competence is having this mindset of Wabi Sabi with us. Like, it's okay. And, at the end of the coaching session, probably reflect, oh, did I ask a close question today? Okay, now, how can I improve it the next time? Not during the session. There are times I don't know. I also do a lot of mentoring. I listen to recorded sessions of others, including me. I can relate. I have done this. I will ask a question because I'm not convinced with the way I ask the question. I will refine the question and ask the question in another way. Actually, we don't have to do it. No question is a clumsy question. This close-ended question, start question, it's all for us to become better coaches. But as for the client, any question is a question. And if they don't understand, believe me, they will ask you. Sorry, I didn't get that. What do you mean? What did you ask? And then you have an opportunity to correct it. But instead, many times we will be correcting it then and there. Or it is because I realized, oh my God, this I wanted to go as a good recording. I want to submit to the ICF. Oh my God, I asked a close question. The moment that realization comes, then you're gone. The rest of the session is, you're not there as a coach for the client. So I think, to me, the benefits of, this mindset of Wabi Sabi mindset, it can, help us to accept our imperfections in coaching session. Rather than striving for perfection, appreciate the entire session, the good, bad, ugly, and all the improvement areas, and then take one step at a time, one action at a time, one improvement at a time. And because we accept our imperfections, you will see that our, self-talk will start coming down during the sessions. The more and more we start accepting, our internal talks will start reducing, and it will help us to stay more present with the client. Irrespective of what I asked, irrespective of what I shared, there are times we feel the client is talking and then, oh my God, I want to explore this. I saw this body language, or I heard this word, or I saw this emphasis on this word. I want to explore this. But by the time the client has spoken so much, and then there is something else at which the client stopped. But because you're remembering to ask this, you have lost all the other things the client has said important. Maybe that was more important than what you focused on. Yeah, Preeti, I see your hand up.
Yeah, so Sudha, if I may share, I after reading the book, something that stood out and the way I use it with the leaders in my leadership coaching is, see, most leaders, when they come to you for their, whether it is developmental journey or anything, the thing is that they are not the way they want to be, which is good. Coaching is all about that. But the thing is, I want to become the best version, which they have heard somewhere as a cliche, or in coaching, somebody has told them earlier, or whatever, if they've read it. So the whole thing is, I think I find it very, very powerful when you take them a little bit through this concept of there is no best version, like somebody said, right? And you can constantly be on the journey of improving. You can become better each day. And how can we become, like, again, what coaching is all about? The journey is from point A to point B, but point B is not the destination.
Correct.
Yeah. So this, I find it very, very useful when we talk about it. Like, we will be with some of the imperfections, and how can we accept them fully and say that, yes, I have become better here, and there is still something, and then I have an opportunity to grow, right?
Yeah.
And constantly growing is life. Otherwise, you are
Yeah.
not living, right? So I find it really very powerful there. And the way I kind of introduce in my leadership workshop, this concept is this way. But yes, I like the other way when you pointed out, and so did Saravjot, about from the coach's angle, how can we not be under pressure of asking the right question and all of those things?
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Push.
Yeah,
Thank you for allowing me to share.
absolutely. In fact, somebody said it takes a Wabi heart to appreciate the Sabi beauty, right? It's not easy. And, from the time I started practicing Wabi Sabi, I wanted to, use some elements or some practices in my house for me to remember this. So in fact, I used to have this, I said, right, I'm this superwoman wanting to be perfect and do all my roles well in all areas of my life. So there are times I would probably beat myself for not cooking that one dish the best way or the perfect way, or usually the way I do it. So these days I started announcing at the dinner table, today we have a Wabi Sabi dish, which means my family knows that this can be less than perfect, or it's not as same as what it was last time. This time there is a change, or it could be incomplete. It's less than cooked or overcooked, whatever it is. Right? So I say, this is a Wabi Sabi dish. Or there are times I remind myself, this is a Wabi Sabi moment for me. Maybe this is what it is. Right? For today, I told you, right from before you all joined, there was some technology challenges for me. So I was telling Sunita, looks like the topic is Wabi Sabi. Then now I need to really show up in real time. Now, what do I do when technology is not supporting me? How do I embrace this? How do I not aim for perfection, that I want to do this, Wabi Sabi topic in the best perfect way I can? How can I just be okay with the imperfections from what I planned initially? And I'm sure you would have witnessed this with your clients, right? What are some things that you are now thinking about, which you could use in your coaching sessions or what you can practice as a coach to remember more Wabi Sabi in your life? Like I said, right? I now, every time I go in on a holiday, I normally like to be in nature, but now even more, I look at very curiously at nature to see that how everything in nature is only, there is no symmetry. There is no alignment. Nothing is perfect. The trees around, the sky, the clouds, the mountains, the water, the river, the rocks, nothing is perfect. But yet everything is beautiful in its own way. And we have never told, oh, I don't like the sun this way, I don't like the moon this way. We always appreciate it. Right? So what are some things that you think that you would want to practice in your life for you to incorporate more of Wabi Sabi in your coaching, with your clients, in your life? Yeah, nature is perfectly imperfect. Correct. Yeah. And life is also similarly like how we cannot have a grow coaching, right? Exactly goal, reality. It doesn't happen like that. While we have frameworks, we know how it operates in real time. A few deep breaths, accept and let go. Yeah. Wow, I like that, Sarabjot. Declaring a Wabi Sabi day for myself at home. Wonderful. In fact, there's something called impermanence meditation. The name looks very fancy, but it is very simple. Maybe we can practice this for ourselves, and maybe we can even teach our clients to practice this. It is nothing but asking them to focus on every breath. No breath can be held. It's impermanent. It will just go. Similarly, no thought, actually speaking, all our beliefs is just a thought which we are dearly holding to ourselves, isn't it? Oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I'm not good in public presentation. I'm an introvert. It's a dearly held thought which actually becomes our belief because we are repeatedly, holding on to them so dearly. Actually, if you just look at it as a thought and had you let go, you will not probably create such permanent identities about yourself. Yeah, yesterday I didn't feel like connecting with everybody, but that doesn't make me an introvert. Maybe today I might feel differently, but I made an identity about myself. I'm an introvert. I have difficulty in connecting with people. I don't like to talk to people. Okay, slow down sometime if it is required, of course. I'm just reading. Remind myself to be in the flow and the transient nature of life. Remind myself that whatever happens, I will be accepting. Be Wabi Sabi at heart and appreciate the Sabi beauty. Absolutely. So
Sorry.
Yeah, KP, go ahead.
This one thought that is emerging within me, that all this climate action, climate problem would be solved if we go with Wabi Sabi, because trying to have it too much glare, too much polishing.
Yeah.
And Wabi Sabi, the way you explained, even reused and created that cup out of the existing material.
Absolutely, right? The reuse, recreate, reown. I don't know. We have this lot of re stuff. Yes, there can be. In fact, I used to have an aunt. My family used to actually make fun of her. But actually, when you really look at it, she was actually practicing Wabi Sabi. Okay. When there is a cloth in her house, any cloth, any dress or anything, if it becomes small, she'll first give it to other kids who can wear them. But if she doesn't find, then she will use it as a dusting cloth. And after some time, even if the dusting cloth, it will start getting into the threads and the fabric, then she will use it as a wick for the lamps. And my whole family used to, make fun of her. What a conjure. You will not even throw anything. But truly speaking, she didn't have the need to buy anything which is unnecessary for her. She was just trying to recreate, reuse, and then, I'm just remembering her. She's no more, but she used to be an old aunt, and then people used to make fun of her in our family. And today, when I read all these concepts, if you are embracing Wabi Sabi, you don't want anything. It's not just about minimalism. It's about you don't want anything unnecessary in your home. But today we will find many things in our home we just bought, which we never use. It's about simplicity. It is about being very humble. It is about keeping it very simple. Coming back to this impermanence meditation, right? In fact, we can start meditating on some thoughts and then keep letting them go and not make it permanent about us. Observe a thought, allow the thought, and the thought will go. Emotions, allow the emotions, recognize them, it'll let it go. Don't hold on to them so dearly. It is just a thought. Whenever we make some identity statements, just tell yourself, it's just a thought, it will go. In fact, I remember Susan David talking about this. We make emotions part of us. I'm sure you'd have heard a lot of us use this, I am angry. Anger is just an emotion. All that we need to say is, I'm experiencing anger or I'm feeling anger now. You're not angry. Don't make it about you and make it permanent and stick with you. I'm an angry person. Anger just comes and goes, like happiness comes and goes. This concept of not making anything permanent, not making anything perfect is so liberating that you can choose. And as Viktor Frankl said, you can exercise choice at every situation. Do not let emotions drive you. Yeah. One can see this in practice. Nothing is wasted there. Okay. That's good to know, Shripad. I didn't know that. How do we internalize Wabi Sabi? Yeah, by practicing it. By making efforts to practice it every day in our life. In fact, I would say, I have started that practice. It's called, I'm calling it Wabi Sabi journal. It's nothing but I want to record those imperfect moments in the day. And I want to record how did I respond to it. Because we don't have perfect moments all through the day. We do have imperfect moments. So what did I do? What was my response? What emotions got triggered in me? What did I want actually? What am I not willing to let go? Simple things, right? When my maid suddenly, sends me a message saying that next 4 days I'm not going to come. That's definitely not a perfect moment for me when there is so much happening at home. But how did I choose to respond? She choosing not to come definitely is not in my control. But now, me choosing what will I want to do when I saw that message is definitely in my control. Does it disappoint me? Yes. Do I feel tired? Do I feel, oh my God, not today? Yes, all of it is true. But I don't want to hold to any of this. I felt very tired. I felt very disappointed. I felt really, that she just didn't show up on such an important day. All of that is fine. All of that is thought. Let me think and allow it to go. Let me feel and allow it to go. And then decide what do I want to do. So answering you, KP, it's like we have enough moments to internalize it in our everyday. Write a Wabi Sabi journal, do a impermanence meditation, go for a nature walk and, remind yourself of the impermanence and the imperfection that exist around us. I know we are on top of our time. We've taken more time. Yeah, KP, you have a question?
So, what is the difference between a well-organized and being operating from a Wabi Sabi space?
Okay, what do you mean well organized?
For example, I'm totally operating from I would say, non-organized space. I like the things to be, for example, the pillows around here just But the moment my wife enters this room, she would just blast at me.
Hmm.
She wants everything to be in a perfect shape.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when I look at it like that, because she wants it so organized, when it is not organized, what she goes through is suffering, dukkha. All that she can do is, okay, my preference is to be organized. She can organize it.
So that is not in my sphere of control.
That's not in your sphere of control. You now expecting my wife needs to be calm when my space is disorganized. Is you having an expectation of how she needs to be perfectly in this situation.
Or should I take her?
Yeah, either
think
she
of
can
further-
choose how she wants to change the situation by telling her, okay, KP is always like this. I like to organize, so let me organize. Either she brings in happiness like that, or you have this, sorry, or you have this clear idea in your mind. Okay, she will get upset whenever I am organized. That's her nature to get upset.
Or should I take her blasting also as something imperfect? That?
Take the blasting from her?
Yeah.
You have a choice what you want to do, isn't it? What do you want to do? It's a choice you make, KP. What you want to do when somebody is blasting you. Do you want to reset expectations? Do you want to work fresh agreements? Do you want to quietly smile and take it? Do you want to organize it quickly? There are many responses. There's no one right response here.
So one of the in talks, Marshall Rosenberg said, if we have one person who is completely organized and completely not organized, that is the reason of having this non-peace in the world. If we separate them out, there would be peace. And he said,
Absolutely.
the paradox of the situation is these two people always get married.
Exactly. And you know why? You know why? So that they kind of become okay with the other ways of being. We get married, you know why? Most of the couples you see, they'll be just the opposite. You know why? Because they need to learn to be okay with other ways of being, other ways of doing, other ways of thinking. Marriage is for growth.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Marriage is for completion. We are just one half. They make you complete. Right? If you're light, they bring in the shade and tell you it's okay to have the shadow, the dark side as well. What is the value of light if there's no darkness? Similarly, in a house, I'm telling you, right? I'm such a, what to say, perfectionist. I like my house to be very tidy, very clean, in a particular way, in all of this. When I started thinking every day about Wabi Sabi in different aspects of my life, I only thought it only requires a small amount of dust to make me unhappy. So I'm just surrendering my happiness to cleanliness, to have a clean house. So even a small amount of, and I am striving for something impossible. I don't know about US, but in India, for sure, I know I can't have a dust-free house all the time. Dust-free can happen for some time after the maids have cleaned. After some time, dust would come. So what am I even striving for?
Thank you.
Thank you. Taking it all. Yeah, that is why God has made all of us different. Absolutely. Yeah. I know we are on top of our time, and thank you all for staying through and having a very engaging conversation. I don't like just presenting and then just sharing my views. It makes it so enriching when we have a very refreshing perspectives from all of us as to how we are looking at this concept, right? So I actually love doing this Wabi Sabi journal. If in case you think this is a great idea, I would definitely invite you, and then probably we'll all regroup and then share how does it feel to record them.
Yeah, I feel that's a great idea, the Wabi Sabi journey.
Yeah.
Just this evening, I was speaking with a fellow coach about the same topic, and it's not a coincidence that I'm hosting you for this Wabi Sabi masterclass. So, yeah.
Yeah. And just to share about my experience, right? From the time I have embraced Wabi Sabi, it gave me a new lease of confidence to show up as the coach who I can be my best. Till the time I was striving to be the perfect coach, it was nightmare. But the more and more I embraced my imperfections in coaching, it was a great opportunity for me to move from there towards my best self, one step at a time, one step at a day. Today, to that extent, today I can, freely go for a coaching demonstration. If somebody says, Coach, Sudha, can you come and do a coaching demonstration? I say, yeah, sure. I know that I may not be perfect, but I'm okay for that. It's only a demonstration I'm doing. And nothing wrong will I do to the coach. Definitely that much I'm sure. Right? By coaching, I don't think I will bring any dukkha to any client. And I've never heard anybody saying anything like that. So it's in my mind, I want to be better. That's okay. That's a good pursuit to have, but minus the pressure. Great. I'm so thankful. I hope this session was worthy of your time and you enjoyed the concept. And I would definitely recommend all of you to buy a copy of book. There are many versions. I love this Nobu Suzuki, and I would love Preeti Kare to share the author's name in the chat.
I have done, up there. So if you want to go back on the chat, there are two names, other names by,
Okay, great.
Both books are called Wabi Sabi Self. But there is a beautiful way that it has been talked about in Ikigai as well. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, so if anybody likes, I'll just read.
I've just posted it again, Preeti.
Oh,
Yeah.
The
good.
ones which you've
All right.
shared. Thanks
Andrew
so much.
Juniper. Okay.
Yeah.
And Beth
Yeah.
Kimpton. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sunita.
Thank you.
All
Thanks,
right.
Sunita.
Thank you, KP. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, Rakesh.
Bye, Sunita.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
Sudha.
much.
Thank you,
Thank
Smita.
you.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank you,
you. Thank you,
everyone.
Sarabjot.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Dimple.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you very
Simi,
much for a lovely
Shripad.
session. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Ram. Thank you, Sarika.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Bye,
Thanks
Sudha.
a
Bye.
lot.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you very
Sunita.
much.